Hi, and welcome to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants, the go-to podcast for holistic health seekers looking to harness the power of nature for healing and health. I'm Jen. I'm passionate about health. I'm a health educator, a whole food plant-based culinary coach, and master herbalist. And I'm here with my friend Dan, an exercise specialist and wonderful master herbalist. Together, we dive into the world of natural healing, bringing you a wealth of knowledge and practical advice. We draw from both traditional wisdom and modern science with herbs and foods to help you achieve optimal health. So today, this topic I'm really excited about because we get kind of heated about it. But it's gym culture and foods used in the gym environment, foods discussed. So this can be if you're new to fitness, you're a seasoned gym goer, maybe you work out a lot. We have a lot of clients who even are interested in doing like shows and things like that. But then we have clients who are brand new to the gym as well. And so we want to talk about food choices and routines and what influences your progress. And then we're also going to break down the popular foods and supplements and trends that we see in gyms and what is good, what is a good choice for you. But then there's so many things that are actually dangerous for you and your health when it comes to foods in the gym. So Dan, gym culture is fascinating because it's driven by performance and recovery. There's always a lot of focus on protein powders, pre-workout supplements, meal timing, what should I eat after I work out? So what do you see as the most common foods and supplements used in the gym?
Well, there's always a big trend of protein shakes. And
Yeah, yeah, that's whether or not you're at the gym, right? That's like one
I
of the
know,
biggest
I
things.
know. The gyms, a lot of gyms make a lot of money just selling the protein shakers, where you shake up the
Yeah,
protein
yeah, yeah.
and of course the protein's king. They tell you that if you're not eating a lot of protein, you'll never build a lot of muscle. And
Hmm.
but what do you think about the obsession with protein powders?
I actually do use some protein powder in my
Hmm.
breakfast. Um, Not always. I always look for the cleanest, which is what where we really need to dig in. But I
Yep.
always look for what is clean. Like it needs to be, it doesn't, I don't want it to say like pea protein isolate. I don't want it to say soy isolate. And I don't want it to have any whey. And so that's the biggest one in the gym. It has to be whey protein, right? And
Yeah, that's what they
so
say.
I want one that is super, super clean. And as a matter of fact, so I don't know if you've seen these. You can even get it on Amazon. You can get like mung bean protein powder, fava bean protein powder, chickpea protein powder. And so those are great too. And so I like to take protein powders when I travel,
Hmm.
especially just in case I can't find something good to eat. But I tasted these powders. You can get them on Amazon at a retreat I was at recently. We had coconut yogurt. So I spread coconut yogurt out and I put a spoonful of each of the powders and stirred it to see what did it taste like because taste is huge, right? And I couldn't taste any of them. They were all very mild, so they were great sources of protein, aka amino acids, which is what we really need to be making sure we're getting is the amino acids. Now, I come from an autoimmune thyroid background, and so my history was I was diagnosed with autoimmune disease back in, oh my gosh, 2007. And when you look at AIP, which is autoimmune protocol, they tell you have to have lots of meat, that you need all these amino acids to help with your healing. Well, we get amino acids, our body, when we eat meat, breaks it down into the amino acids. So we might as well get the amino acids directly. It's a lot less energy when we get the amino acids directly. So I do use some protein powders. That was a long way to say that. And I like them as long as they're clean and don't have other fillers. They don't have sugars. They don't have hidden sugars. They don't have, like a lot of times they'll say maltodextrin, and maltodextrin is derived from corn. So if it doesn't say organic, it is from GMO corn. And so you're having pesticides with your already processed product. Protein powder is a processed product. And so if you are trying to avoid processed foods and eat all whole foods, then protein powder is not going to fit into your day.
Yeah, that's a great point because we're talking about whey protein, but I've seen some consumer reports recently where a lot of these protein powders are full of lead.
Yeah.
We don't want a lot of lead, so
No. No.
in our bodies.
Right. Right.
So what do you tell somebody? They ask you, well, I heard that pea protein isn't, it doesn't build muscle as well as whey protein or casein or egg protein.
Well, first I want to see the studies.
Mhm.
Yeah, and who paid for the study to be done? Because normally that's what it is. It normally comes from it's an inside job.
It
Right? And
is.
right. And so I want to see the studies because I, for one, I totally know. I came from the other side as well. I was a personal trainer. I worked in the gym, and I thought you had to have meat. I thought you had to have animal proteins. And yeah, so when I became vegan, I started doing the research too. And so that's when I started finding vegan bodybuilders. What mostly, what I, bleh. When I went vegan, whole food plant-based. I don't like to say vegan because that's political. When I went completely whole food plant-based, my energy spiked so much that I became a runner. And anyone who grew up with me knew I was never a runner. I always loved the gym, I always loved weights, I even liked yoga, but I was definitely never a runner. Never did. I would ride my bike. I was a big bike. I rode my bike like 10 miles a day for a while there, but I was never a runner. But I started running, and it was like I had all this energy and I could run. And the more research I did on a vegan diet or whole food plant-based and how to make sure I'm getting enough nutrients to be like an athlete, it was always runners. Well, I didn't want to be a skinny runner. I wanted to be someone who could work out in the gym and lift weights and heavy. And then I started finding all of the vegan bodybuilders, and there's tons of them, and they win all kinds of awards. And they have this point where the largest animals on earth they eat grass. They eat leaves. They don't eat other animals. Yes, tigers are very powerful and they are carnivores, but their whole body system is different from ours. We are closer to these other animals that eat the grasses and the leaves. And sometimes they eat bugs. And so it is a little bit of an animal product there, right? But that most of their diet is grasses and leaves. They get the amino acids they need. Look at a bull, right? Look at an elephant, look at a giraffe. These animals are huge and powerful.
I totally agree. And if you look at the studies where they compare a human's digestive system to an ape, you cannot tell it
Right,
apart.
right,
And so that's how they figured out that we're actually plant eaters as well, or we should be.
right.
And if you look at the people who are heavy meat eaters and look at their blood work, compare it to a plant-based eater, there's going to be big health differences. And
Indeed.
I
And
prove
we
it to
see that.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, we see
So,
that. Yeah. So when it comes to the protein, so if you have a client coming to you because you are in the gym and
mhm.
they say, what protein powder should I get? Or should I take protein powder? How do you respond to that?
I say, I first tell them you can get everything you need from eating whole food plant-based if you design it properly, where you have, you eat your beans, you eat your whole grains, you eat your vegetables and fruits.
Hmm.
I don't use protein powder, and I'm 200 pounds right now, and I'm strong. I'm 46 years old, and I'm still really strong. But if you do want to have a protein powder because people are busy, I recommend I recommend a good pea protein, not isolate, but I have one here. I can't think of the brand, but it's just pea protein.
Hmm.
It's yellow peas. I recommend that because it's a really good clean. It's organic,
Hmm.
and I recommend hemp protein,
Hmm.
and there's brown rice protein as well. So I recommend those. But
Right.
I'm telling you, I don't touch protein powders, and my performance is really good. I mean, I still ride my bicycle 10 miles a day. If
Hmm.
I usually go for 10-mile rides, I can
Hmm.
bench about 250 pounds. I deadlift over 300. and I don't have protein. I don't count protein anymore. I just eat good, healthy
Right.
foods. I sweet potatoes. I do a lot of brown rice, quinoa, beans, broccoli, all the vegetables and fruits. And
Mhm.
when I first started, I thought, well, can I do this? Because I was
Right.
from the bodybuilding culture. I'm just as strong. I have more energy because a whole food plant-based diet actually thins your blood. And so your
Right.
circulation becomes stronger. Stronger circulation equals more energy.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what I tell them.
Yes. Yeah.
And the girl I'm working with now, she's all plant-based and she is thriving. She's 56 and if we've been together for 6 months, she's built a lot of muscle so far.
Yeah, that's
It's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah.
So does she use any protein powders?
She does do protein drinks, plant-based plant-based protein drinks only on workout days, so only on Mondays and Fridays.
Mm, mm-hmm.
That's the only extra protein she uses.
Mm.
And she's leg pressing. When we first got together, she could leg press, I think it's like 100 pounds. Now she leg presses about 260 pounds for sets of 10. Easy, fast reps.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's awesome.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, she's not getting a lot of protein.
I think for me, because I come from a disease background, that I work with clients who have diseases, they have leaky gut and so forth. Um, that for something like protein powders, because they have leaky gut, we have to increase that absorption. And so green juices would be a great alternative. Lots of green juices and lots of greens overall, but it's really, really difficult to get that many greens to get the protein. But using things like smoothies and juices, and not fruit juices, vegetable juices, broths, and then not bone broth, potassium broth, things like that to help boost vitamins, but also they have a more of a need for protein. Because if you are sick or you have leaky gut, you have to have protein to make all those repairs. And so maybe it doesn't have to be protein powder, but using something like lots of hemp seed, you can grind hemp seed in your blender, and turn that into your own little powder, grind it into your smoothies, grind it into whatever. And that can be another great way instead of using a processed protein. But if you are looking for protein powder, look for something with the least amount of ingredients. We want it mostly to be probably a bean source. I can't think of one that's not a bean source, but ground from whole beans, not an isolate, because that is just extracting something. We want it to be as minimally processed as possible. A powder is going to be processed as minimally processed as possible without as many ingredients.
Yes, exactly. That's why let me see. I can't think of this. We're not selling this, but I
Uh,
found one called NorCal Organic Pea Protein. And on the ingredients, all it is yellow peas, organic yellow peas.
wow, that's
So
awesome. Hmm. Yeah, that's like the ones I was talking about: the mung bean, the fava bean,
yeah,
and the
just one
chickpea.
ingredient. It's
One
really
ingredient.
awesome.
Yeah.
We have access to so many great things now, and that's one of them. Because when I was a kid, the
Hmm.
protein powders then it was had so many ingredients.
Right. Right.
Horrible for you.
Right. So in the typical gym culture, what I find is clients have set meals. They eat the same thing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, usually snacks even, and it's exactly the same thing every single day. And you can probably spit out what it is that they eat every single day. And so how do you get someone, uh, I guess to me, I don't want a client eating exactly the same thing every day. And I even had a client tell me, my goal is to look good in my bikini. It's not to be healthy. And so, I mean, if that's your goal, okay, you know, I'm not going to change your
Yeah.
mind. I'm not going to get you to do anything different. But what are the what's the impact of someone doing that? If they're eating, like, I'm thinking of lots of boiled eggs. I'm thinking the chicken and the broccoli. They do usually have some broccoli and a sweet potato, but it's usually chicken, very meat heavy, very low carbs, except for things like sweet potatoes. It'd be a complex carb, which is nice, but very meat heavy and lots of eggs. Are you agreeing?
Well, Oh yeah, that's a typical gym diet.
Hmm.
That's going to lead to things like inflammation, higher cortisol.
Hmm.
You're going to get nutrient deficiencies.
Hmm.
Your bowel movements are not going to be as good as they need to be because it's
Hmm.
just so bland, and you're going to get sick of it.
Oh yeah, I
It's
can't
like a
even imagine.
torturous diet. There's no flavor, like a grilled chicken breast. Yuck! I used to do it. Oh, it tastes like rubber, you know.
Right. I would, after 3 days, I would just die because I like food.
And they're actually decreasing their performance
Right.
because they're
Well,
not getting all the nutrition they need.
so I have some. So they're brand new and they start out, and then in a year they do. They look awesome. They look amazing. And then what happens from there? It's like after that is when there starts to be their health starts to deteriorate.
And they also start rebounding. People can only eat that way so long that they start to develop eating disorders because in the bodybuilding culture, they have what they call cheat days. And it's because the stuff they're eating normally is so bland and it leaves you hungry. They'll have days where they eat just a bunch of junk, like a whole pizza, a box of Lucky Charms. I'm like, what? This
Yeah.
is a toxic culture now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you're saying, I've seen people get in really good shape before like that.
Hmm.
And then a year later, they're just, I mean, they're fat, you know?
Hmm.
Because like I was telling you, their cortisol is going to go up. It may even screw up their metabolism because they're under eating for so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And while I've been there, I have been there. I'll admit it. When I was young,
Hmm.
like in my 20s, that was me.
Right. How do we tell someone that it's okay not to eat that?
Well, I like to use, you know me, I like
Hmm.
to use a lot of research and science with them and show them. I say, look, I know you want to look good on the outside, but I, as your coach, I want you to be healthy on the inside. And I'll show them research about how the plant-based diet makes you so healthy and clean on the inside. Because once you get healthy and clean on the inside, it's going to show up on the outside. But now you're not going to drop dead from a heart attack at 50. You're going to
Right.
look good. You're actually going to be healthy.
Yes.
And well, the girl I'm working with now, she come to me. She was in so much pain that she couldn't sleep. It will wake her up.
Wow.
And so her
Yeah.
first goal was to get over the pain. I said, "Well, what do you eat?" She goes, "Well, my breakfast is eggs and bacon." I said, "Look, your diet is inflaming you."
Hmm. Hmm.
Nobody had ever told her this. She's been a medical doctors, chiropractors, physical therapists. Nobody has ever told her that her diet was inflaming her. And I did, but I did because we're different. And so
Right.
she started eating plant-based. And today her pain is so much better that she can sleep 6 hours at a time. This is after six
Yes.
months.
Yes. On eating this way, I've had three clients who had surgeries scheduled that they canceled after going whole food plant based. We had to remove other things. We had to remove gluten as well as the dairy, but all three of them, no surgery, just from changing this way. And recovery, like working out, you work hard in the gym, like your client, working heavy and then not being sore the next day and being able to go back day three and go all at it again. No soreness. Recovery is so much better when you eat this way.
Well, this works so well. A lot of pro athletes are catching on. There are NFL players eating this way. There are
Yes.
Olympians eating this way.
Yes.
I mean, and
There's a
these
lot to it.
people, yeah, their whole career is
Mhm.
based on the health of their body. And
Yeah.
they figured out the healthiest way is to eat whole food plant-based. It
Yes.
gives you so much
Yes.
energy and strength. It's crazy.
Yes. And so instead of focusing on getting that bikini body today, I want it right now, and then getting sick and then struggling to get back to that, wouldn't it be better to focus on your health and do it change from the inside? Change from the inside, and it's going to change the outside.
And you don't have to worry about dieting down and bulking up. My weight stays stable all
Macros.
year. I don't get fat anymore.
Mhm.
I mean, I eat a lot of food, but my weight never changes. It stays
Right.
around 200, and
Right.
I can see my abs pretty good at this weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't count anything.
Right. Right. Yeah, tracking and all of that is not even necessary when you're
No.
eating anti-inflammatory whole foods. Right, right. So what about supplements? Because supplements are huge too. Like I have so many clients that not anymore, but I used to. They would ask me about creatine and extra amino acids and branched chain amino acids and um, things like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't recommend taking amino acids because, again, eat your food.
Right.
Also, these processed amino acids, they've been shown to actually raise your blood sugar. So that's another
Mhm,
negative there.
mhm.
Creatine, I don't use it, but I'm kind of on the fence about it because Michael Greger actually has a video about creatine showing that
Uh-huh.
it can actually help us and it's not really that
Wow.
harmful. So
Really?
I look at a lot of science when it comes to, I don't use it, but he
Hmm.
had a video recently showing that creatine can help your performance a little bit, not a lot, but a
Hmm.
little bit.
Uh-huh.
But there's good supplements too, like there's herbs,
Hmm.
things like beetroot powder.
Yeah.
It's actually good for your blood pressure. It produces nitric oxide in the body, so it actually
Yes.
helps you be healthy. And
Yes.
green tea is a good tea to drink because it's
Yep.
got a lot of antioxidants.
Mm. All
So
your leafy
yeah.
greens.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
You can't get enough greens. I mean, leafy greens are so good for you.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, there are good supplements. I mean, herbs and things we learned. We were blessed to go to school of natural healing. There are
Hmm.
herbs out there that can actually increase your health. I'm for anything that increases your health with no side effects.
Yes. Amen. Yes. So what about another thing that I struggle with, not personally with clients, is I have to have this recovery drink, be a Gatorade or a meal. Like I have to have my protein shake or my recovery meal after each workout. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, a lot of people think they had to have it right after they work out, like 5 minutes. I'm done. I'm drinking it.
Right.
But
Right.
the research is showing that if you can get it within 2 hours of your workout, you'll be fine.
Hmm.
But me personally, I don't even, I may go hours after I work out because I'm busy before I eat anything. And
Hmm.
it doesn't, I don't see any decrease in my recovery at all. So I think just as long as you get 3 healthy plant-based meals in sometime during the day, I
Hmm.
think you'll be fine because I don't think you have to obsess about, okay, I just got done. I need to get a protein shake. I think that's just a gimmick and a fad, and it doesn't really
It is.
benefit you. So,
Exactly. Yes.
yeah.
And like for clients who are not there trying to get stage ready,
Hmm.
they're just in there trying to improve their health, working
Yeah.
out regularly. Do they need a post recovery drink or shake?
No. Mm-mm.
No, not at
No.
all. But it's so
No.
hard to convince them that they don't.
I know. It's marketing. These people are great marketers.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah. And it's everywhere. All the influencers and everything too. Yes, it's much better to eat your meals, make sure you're eating high nutrient dense foods. You will recover well. And then making sure you're resting. Make sure you
Exactly.
have plenty of rest because that is when we recover and rebuild. When you are exercising, you're breaking down that muscle tissue and it needs to repair to increase and strengthen. And so the only time it's going to do that is when you are resting. And so resting, eating nutrient dense foods, absorbing nutrient dense foods and resting are really going to be a great at helping with that.
Yeah, I mean, our clients are regular people. They're trying to get healthy. They may work out an hour with me twice a week. They don't need to do any
No.
recovery drinks. Now, if you're some guy that, if you're like an ultra athlete, like some of these crazy guys that run 100 miles,
Yes.
they need food throughout their workouts. But we're talking about regular people. We're going to work out with the weights for an hour. We're going to ride a bicycle for 30 minutes. That's not that much activity. You don't have to have a bunch of recovery. So, yeah, just eat your
Right.
healthy plant-based meals and you're going to do really well.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Yeah. Yes. Well, I think that about wraps up our show for today. If you have comments on gym culture, protein powders, supplements for the gym, post-recovery drinks or anything like that, we want to hear from you. If you didn't agree with something we said, we definitely want to hear from you as well. We like to hear both sides of the story. We didn't give a medical disclaimer today, but this was definitely not medical advice for anyone. Do your own due diligence and see, what sits right with you and study as well. So comment and subscribe to our channel as well and share it with your friends. And you can always connect with us. We love to work with clients in groups and one-on-one. I know Dan has an ebook that will be coming out soon on weight loss, and I have lots of plant-based recipes that can help you on your journey and other programs as well. You can check us out. You can check me out at holisticgyn.com or Dan at danthenaturalman.com. So we're here to help you through safe and effective nutrition practices through herbs and plants. And we're so glad that you joined us today. So tune in again next week.